Hello again. That was a really powerful talk, but now we're getting to the next point of our agenda. The title of this talk is AI, the Big Opportunity. Well, how big? Mathias Åsberg, the CEO of NextGrid, will tell us something more about that. Mathias is here on site as well, so please come to the stage. Maybe a round of applause? OK, so over to you.
Thank you so much. All right, so I'm here today to talk a bit about AI and the big opportunity it is bringing right now. My name is Mathias Åsberg. I'm originally from Sweden, but now based here in Warsaw. I'm a hacker that turned entrepreneur, and right now trying to build the greatest investment company ever for AI companies and AI founders. Our company is NextGrid, and NextGrid's mission is to accelerate the pace of innovation, especially in AI-first products. We do that by investing in talent, ecosystem, and startups. So we do a bunch of different activities. We do not only invest in companies, we do also run events called deep learning labs that you can check out on our website and attend if you want to learn more about this. All right, so the agenda today is what is artificial intelligence, the evolution of artificial intelligence, and the big opportunity that it brings, and how to actually think about it. All right, so artificial intelligence is when we allow the computer to solve a problem without human interference in between. We can either, there are a couple of different ways to do this. The most common are reinforcement learning. In that case, we create a simulation. We allow the computer or the agent to play this game over and over. When it does well, we give it a cookie, so it understands that I did well now, and it will simply repeat successful patterns until it achieves the best possible solution on the problem. Another modern and popular technology is deep learning. With deep learning, we can look at a lot of data and look at events that's happening, and we can then correlate these events to the data. AI have been quite a buzzword over the years. I believe a few years ago, they did some check, and I believe 70% of all startups that was using AI was actually not using anything that had with artificial intelligence to do. So what does it mean? With artificial intelligence, we can solve a lot of problems and perform a lot of tasks without a human interference, and these are delivering unparalleled efficiency and cost. So a short recap of some of the exciting things that happen in AI over the last couple of years. I think AI first got its bigger exposure around 2016 and 2017 when Google AlphaGo, or DeepMind as their AI branch is called, did beat the best player in the world on the game Go. At the time, this was seen as something almost impossible. In this case, they used reinforcement learning, so the computer was just playing itself over and over and over again. For key G here that lost, Yeah, he lost his purpose with life, unfortunately, he said. There's a really good documentary you can find on both YouTube and Netflix about this achievement. 2019, DeepMind AlphaStar beat 99% of all the players in StarCraft. StarCraft is a quite complex game, more complex than Go, I would say, and many, many times more complex than chess. So during these years, we did see AI surface here and there, but not so many real use cases of it. 2019, OpenAI beat the best team in the world on the most competitive and advanced game in the world, Dota 2. It's basically 5 versus 5. And to put it in perspective, I think the first prize for the winners in the yearly tournament for Dota, I think the first prize is around $13–14 million. If we look a bit at how fast the technology is progressing, we can see that around 2016, when the AlphaGo did their achievement in Go, since then it have progressed quite much. So we all the time finding ways to do it more efficiently, both when it comes to the code, but also when it comes to increase in computing power. So the reality is that computing power behind AI algorithms have been growing 7 times faster than Moore's law over the last couple of years. And to solve the same task, 2019 required 44 times less computing power also than solving the same task 2012. So we are both looking at increased efficiency in the algorithms. At the same time, the cost of computing goes down and performance goes up. All right, so from seeing these breakthroughs coming maybe every year or every half year, we started to see them coming more often. So suddenly it was every quarter, every month, and now every week there are new inventions in AI. I could stand the whole day and go and showcase different kinds of them, but I will focus on one of the more significant. So it's the GPT-3 from OpenAI. So it's a generative pre-trained transformer. So basically what they did at OpenAI was that they pretty much crunched in, not all, but a lot of text that was available online, GitHub and many other sources. So with this, they pre-trained a model with, I think it have 170 billion parameters. And what OpenAI did here was that instead of open source it, that often have been the case before, they decided we will not open source it, we will release it as an API. This opened a new door of possibilities, because now people could, instead of spending a huge amount of computing resources and time to train something from bottom up, now it was possible to use this GPT-3 that already was trained on all the text and had all the parameters, and just by showcasing it a couple of examples, it could learn the pattern and repeat the task. So I will showcase some of the products that was built on this like days after it was released. So this is Sam, AI engineer at Deloitte. He built something called Magic Email. So like personally, I suck at writing emails. Probably the most time-consuming thing I know. So for me, this is perfect. What I can do here is that I just write a few pointers what my email is about. I click a button, and it writes the email for me. Of course, there are always room for improvements, but this is products built in matter of days or weeks after the release of this. It can also do the opposite. So we all know we get long emails that we often don't even read because they are so long. But there might be something interesting there. So we could use Magic Email to summarize the email also. So in this case, I took this email and I summarized it, and the result was following. So instead of spending all this time reading the long email, I can now get just a summary of it. But it gets even more exciting. So here's another example, and this is also built on GPT-3. But in this case, you describe what you want, and it's trained to write out the code in, I think it's JavaScript React. So by stating a button says add $3, and a button that says withdraw 5, then show my balance, results in this. So it basically writes the whole function for it. I'm sure this is not perfect, but now instead of having a 10-people developer team, I can have a 5-people developer team because a lot of the base work can be done. And this is applicable in basically any type of field. And how fast it's moving, we can see, for example, at this example. So this is a calculation how much it would cost to train something with the capacity of GPT-3. So the computing power required when OpenAI did it, they spent $4.6 million on it. No. They probably spent 4.6 billion. I don't know why it's a million. Yeah, okay, they've spent 4.6 million. However, if you would like to train a similar model, but with the same capacity as the human brain, today that would cost 2.6 billion, but we see how the cost is exponentially going down. So, what is the big opportunity? The big opportunity is that today anyone can actually build the next big thing home in their garage again. There is massive opportunities in AI right now because the technology have reached a point where it's actually manageable. If we look back just 3 years ago, you probably needed a solid 7-8 years math behind you just to be able to actually build something useful. But with the release of new top-level languages such as Keras or PyTorch, it's possible for a lot of people to build this. However, I would say the most important thing is actually to have domain knowledge. So often what happens today is that businesses, they say we need AI, so they go and get the AI people and they say build us AI. The problem is that in many cases, the engineers do not have domain knowledge how processes actually is performed within the company. So I would say to create successful AI products today, it needs to start with the people that actually have a domain knowledge how this task is performed. So what you need to approach and think about AI is, do we have processes that where a given input will create a given output, like A to B? Then we can either train GPT-3 to do it very easily, or we can feed it with a lot of examples and train it ourselves. Or if we have processes where we know all the rules around it, like playing Go or StarCraft or Dota, in that if we can create a simulation of it that correlates with reality, we can simply put artificial intelligence inside of it, and it will simply, just by brute force, playing the game over and over and over again, start to understand what works. All right, very short, but thank you so much.